Hi there, I am again, another NFXL podcast, I should say, get that right, with Andy XL. And this is part one of my week seven preview of the NFL. But as usual, as I've been doing in recent weeks, I've split it into three parts. The first part covering the Thursday night game and the Sunday matinee from London. Part two will be the early Sunday slot, and part three will be the remainder of the games. So, with a third of the regular season done and dusted, what will happen in week seven and which teams could be about to boost their chances of making the postseason? Which teams either need or must win this week, and will they? And whose chances could be hit or ended in week seven? Last week I called 9 out of 15 results correctly, including the Falcons beating the Bills and the Chiefs beating the Lions, and effectively doinked two 60-yarders off the upright by getting the 30-27 scoreline right in the Cowboys-Panthers game, just the wrong way around. Count myself unlucky there. And also with Justin Herbert's last-minute heroics preventing my call of the Dolphins beating the Chargers coming true. All in the past now, I won't be bitter, but I will be going for more than 10 right this week to get back up towards a 70% strike rate for the season. 66% currently, like I say, been a bit unlucky the last couple of weeks. 75% remains my seasonal target. So let's see how I do. Starting with Thursday night football, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers hold a 2.5 game lead over the Bengals in the AFC North. Will that lead be down to 1.5 games or out to a huge 3.5 games after this clash? Stats show the Steelers are now better than average in all areas apart from passing touchdowns, which is even better, which shows how efficient Aaron Rodgers has been in the red zone. They're also fifth in the league for defensive interceptions with 5, all from different players, interestingly. So beware Joe Flacco. The Bengals rank towards the bottom of the league in all areas, but whilst they have the receiver core they have, they can threaten any team. But Flacco needs to avoid those costly picks. He was clean last week for Cincy, but threw 6 in 4 games for Cleveland, and pretty much averages 1 per game throughout his long career. Jamar Chase, well, he had 182 yards and 2 touchdowns when the teams met last season. So he unsurprisingly is the key man if Cincy is to get a win. They pretty much must have. Whereas the Steelers would love to have this one to pretty much kill off an AFC North rival for the division title. In terms of fantasy, the Bengals have been the best team for opposing tight ends to meet this season, and Pittsburgh have been the third best for opposing tight ends to play. But Pittsburgh have 3 tight ends sharing the wealth, whereas with Mike Gesicki out, Noah Fant is the one tight end the Bengals could turn to in this one, especially with Steelers safeties Deshaun Elliott and Miles Killebrew struggling with injury ahead of this game. So Noah Fant could be a sneaky fantasy play this week. Similar issues apply at running back for the Steelers in terms of sharing the load, where choosing between Jalen Warren and Kenny Gainwell is tough fantasy wise. So bear that in mind if you're thinking going running back there. Overall, I have to say it's the Steelers just going to edge this one here, but it could be close. I'm going to go for a Steelers win by 27-24. Right, Sunday in London, Jacksonville Jaguars against the Los Angeles Rams, normally a home game for the Jaguars. Both teams are 4-2 and in the midst of both divisional title and wildcard battles. A loss for either would hurt them in both regards, but more so in divisional terms, especially the Jags who are already a game back of the Colts coming into week 7. The Jags are below average pass offense and defense, but top 12 for run offense and top 10 for run defense. The Rams' strength is passing the ball, but they are ranked outside the top 20 for run offense. They are good against the pass, but average against the run. So taking all that into consideration, the Jags are likely to do most offensively on the ground, whereas Matt Stafford and the passing game could be in for a good one against that Jags pass defense. And the Jags don't have much of a pass rush either, so Stafford's likely to get time to find his receivers here. However, the Rams have had a real issue with red zone efficiency this season. They will need to improve in that area to win this one. They were better last week in that regard, it has to be said. The Jags have had problems against other teams' primary wide receivers. And the Rams have 2 in Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. But Nacua could be out for this one, so Adams could be the man for the Rams and in fantasy terms here. Devon Lloyd could be a big miss for the Jags in London, and the Rams, as I say, are likely to be without Nakua. They're the main injury news here. So, in another close one, I'm going for the Rams to be the team that gets to 5-2, leaving the Jags on 4-3, and I'm going to go for a Rams win in London by 24-20. And in a very quick run through, that's the first two games of the week done and dusted. Like I say, part two, I'll come back and have a look at the Sunday early games. There's a load of games this week that I can see being close. So I think it's going to be a really keenly contested week. There's only one or two teams that I have as one margin winners or greater, one score, more than one score winners. Um, so come back and find out who they might be in parts two and part three. But that's it for part one. See you soon.